Previously on Miss President.
Jacqueline Kony, Angela Mwihaki, Colette Akwana. After much deliberation, the judges have felt it fit to allow you to go home. But the one thing we'd like you to take home is that you have learned a lot, and for you to come this far, you are among the top 16 in the academy. The three of you are leaders in your current capacities, but even in the house, we have felt that you guys have your strengths. Build on those strengths, because even in a country where there's the president does not work alone, Colette especially. I believe you have a great potential as one of the presidential advisors or leadership advisors in whichever capacity you may get. Yes, Angela. You need to open up, you need to let go, and you need people to see who the true Angela is. Because I believe you're a very strong leader, but there's something holding you back. Whatever it is, maybe we need time. Kony, I need you to bring your personal opinion into the leadership desk. I think you have been in office too long, and whenever you argue, you're arguing about the current practice. This is what the Constitution says. This is what it is. It is not about that sometimes. As a leader, it is about the Constitution. But why do we have courts? So that the judges can also stamp their own opinions in it, isn't it? As a leader, you have that privilege. Use it to create change. Okay? Thank you so much.
And now, a quick look at the parties before elimination. Remember, somebody from each party will be going home tonight. Wow! 3 contestants went home last week, but they all had one thing in common. Lessons learned, new networks formed, and dare I say, much bolder. And as one of them put it, the fire has been ignited. What next? Back to our recurring question. Is Kenya ready for a female president? Tonight's show kicks off with 12 contestants. So who will stay and who is going home? And as the judges have shown us, hakuna formula that dictates the number of people going home. Oh, Kisleki, you lose. I hope you have your drinks, meals, phones, and various watch-related accessories, as every dialogue, comment, or shot in this episode is not worth missing. Now, in the next series of episodes, the tasks get more challenging, with a lot of thought and consideration required before the eliminations. Each episode is filmed over a span of 2 days. Day 1, the training, possible site visit. Day 2, presentations, nominations, and eliminations. Over 1,000 applications were received from all over Kenya, and from these, 70 contestants were shortlisted. After a series of auditions, 40 women were selected. Now, only 12 still stand and are battling it out at the academy, where they are going through a process of training, tasks, challenges, problem-solving activities, presentations, and eliminations to eventually be elected Miss President. Leaders are required to work with people from all walks of life. And since leadership doesn't work in a vacuum, the candidates in this episode are divided into 3 groups, coalitions they formed in the last episode. While working within these groups, the contestants are being tested on their ability to lead or work as a team. Together, let us follow each stage of this competition and watch these very capable women try to convince the judges and you at home, myself included, why they should make it to the next stage of the competition. Here are the counties that are represented by the remaining contestants. Now, let's meet our esteemed judges for this episode.
I'm Dr. Zipporah Okoth. I'm a lecturer of film and theatre arts at Kenyatta University. I'm also the founder of the Lake International Pan-African Film Festival. I'm a gender consultant and a performing artist. I'm looking for people who are informed, presentable, firm, and have a purpose.
Hi, I'm Jerry Kerene. I work in the policy environment, helping various small groups lobby for better laws for business. I'm a tough judge. I'm no nonsense. The minute you come before me, you better know your stuff. If you don't, well, you can only expect a challenge.
My name is Maina Mwiruri. I'm a journalist. My area of specialization is political analysis. I am looking for coherence in articulation of ideas of leadership. The presidency being the highest political office in the land, this will matter a lot.
The gears have shifted. The terrain is getting tougher, and you can feel the tension, the nerves, but also the quick comebacks, wit, and resilience of each one of our contestants as they continue on this path to leadership. So we have limited resources. What happens if our resources go to the wrong places? How do we make the best of what we have? Today's trainer will take us through research in policy making and the importance of evidence in formulation of government policy. Let us follow the show to understand what goes on behind the scenes and informs what we call a policy document, and see what policy frameworks our contestants will come up with in their assignments.
My name is Vincent Kimoso. I am a policy and a governance expert. We will look at why evidence is important in informing policy, in monitoring, and even evaluating them if they're successful.
Tupige makofi tafadhali.
Okay, a clap for my... We want to look at the place of research in policy making. Evidence is a very important thing. If we do not have evidence to inform our decision making, one of the challenges that we have at times is that we might have our resources going into the wrong places. We have limited resources. How do we make the most of those? And one of the things that is very important is ensuring that you have research and you have data to inform your decisions. You want your government to be a government that is driven by facts. If you look at our constitution, one key theater or platform that your excellencies, you'll be making your decisions, will be in the cabinet. One of the tools that as a cabinet minister comes to the cabinet, that they make their decisions or they present submissions for endorsement, is what we call, they come with what we call cabinet memos. The cabinet memo is a summary of a policy document. Are we together? So that as the CEO of the country, you are able to see through if what you see your CSs, that is the cabinet secretaries, are presenting is actually driven by evidence. So when you're questioning, you are able to see the place of research in the cabinet memo, which is a summary of a policy, decision or submission. Then an analysis is given. Now, when you're doing analysis in policy making, you have to be as objective as possible. Now, this is where the research information is given. Then the way forward. Based on the analysis that we have given, what are the options that we need to have and what are the recommendations? Now, let me now take you through something called the policy process. When we are formulating public policies, because you are CEOs, you have to locate how did you develop the policy. Was it consultative? Was there public participation? You understand? So you have addressed the issue, located it very well, and then you've also told us how the journey was covered. You then articulate the second part of what is the vision seeking to do, what is the goal that you're seeking to attain through this policy, and what is the mission of this policy. Then you also, in the same chapter, outline the objectives. And one of the things that you need to do as a CEO, the objectives that are articulated in a policy are supposed to be SMART. That means they have to be very specific. Like, for example, to promote mental health and well-being of persons. Very clear. And then they should also have measurable. Then they should also be attainable. Hello? And then they should be time-bound. By when? Now, when you get to the third chapter, we will now need to see how the research and the information you gathered are informing your strategies. So that then when the strategies you are developing are doing what? Are informed by the evidence you generated. Now look at this. I wanted to draw a quadrant like that, okay? Where I was saying there is a place of power, hello? And then there is a place of politics. Okay? And then we have something called policy, which is now our entry point today. You seeing that? And then there is process. Now, currently we have an issue of unemployment as a country, and that's the reality. So what research tells you, it's able to help you that, yes, we are seeing more strikes. What exactly is the problem? It is an economic issue. Possibly, incomes that people are earning are not able to do what? Are not facilitating their ends. Now, realize when doctors strike and when teachers strike, there is a difference. What is usually the difference?
Teachers form a very large block in the country, and so it becomes very hard not to listen to them. You tend to agree to what they're saying, but with the doctors, it's very easy to even intimidate them in terms of threats of firing and things like that.
So it is what? It is a power issue. They have the numbers. Hello? So you cannot be, if such a thing happens and you are sitting as president, you cannot ignore the place of politics, the place of numbers. Your Excellencies, you have to be aware and cognizant of these issues so that you're able to place the issue in any place at any one time. If we have a problem of solid waste management, and you'll be able to actually organize groups to take care of them, and they are well facilitated, you will achieve a clean environment together with what? And employment. But you then need to tell us, what research needs to tell us, that it should not be a political decision. Because you can actually expose young people to hazardous products in the name of saying I'm solving employment. Are you seeing where research is important? Now, this is the summary of the policy process. The first place of a policy process is then, or a policy cycle, is the agenda setting. When we are talking about universal health care, by the way, is it really what we are having a problem about? Hello? Now, that can only be answered by research. Now, number two is you document. Now, you remember the cabinet memo? Remember the policy that I've taken you through? This is now the journey of documenting them. And then now you put them into design. Then from there, public participation is very important. It's even a constitutional provision. This is where now you build ownership so that the people can do what? Can say, it's our document. Now, from the time you implement the decisions that you made in cabinet, all the way to when you're seeing outcomes, you should be doing what you call monitoring and evaluation. It's very important because when you need to evaluate, are you on progress? So that you then, as you evaluate all this process, you see this journey? You evaluate with one objective. Do we terminate this policy or do we improve this policy? Are you seeing that? So that it goes back to cabinet and then the entire journey again starts.
Who is responsible for that middle part, and could there be power and political influence that feeds into that therefore makes it get shut down or actually implemented?
This is where now you have maybe monitoring committees of the cabinet. You can also have inter-ministerial committees. It depends on the issue, who does the monitoring. And the feedback that comes either are the outputs. So you evaluate with two objectives, to terminate or to do what? To improve.
How do you think we can get our citizenry to volunteer more, to start participating at the needs assessment stage so that it comes from them? Because we can't have all these good policies, all these good bills, but they don't translate to a difference in their lives.
These processes should not lead to rigidity and lack of flexibility. So what is required? The challenge we've had is that what I have presented, Your Excellency, is the how things should be done. Now, remember, one thing that is required is innovativeness on the part of your cabinet secretaries, your PSS, and the people on the ground. Is when the people's contributions, people's perspectives is actually budgeted for. Are you seeing that? And they are involved in implementation ownership of successes and failures. So it will require you, Your Excellency, to be very clear on the journey that you require, allow, and also to be clear on your communication. Your Excellencies, I wish you the very best, and let us go and shape and build a better world. A world that we'll be proud of, a world that we'll be happy to tell the next generation.
I think the most interesting thing we learned today is the interplay between power politics and the policy-making process, all integrated in a very good way so that you can be able to run the country effectively.
Ndio utengeneze sera lazima uwe umefanya utafiti, na mara nyingi sisi kama viongozi tunataka kufanya mageuzi ama kuleta mabadiliko bila kufanya utafiti, na hayo ndo mambo ambayo yalisimama na yakaleta ile changamoto nzuri kwetu sisi viongozi kwamba tafadhali lazima mfanye utafiti ndo mjue sasa ni vitu gani mnataka kubadilisha.
Policy making is not just about the paper, it has to leave the boardroom and go to the actual field.
Right.
Yeah, so for me that was very powerful.
Who do you think will win this competition? Can you tell? Over 1,000 applications were received from all over Kenya, and from these, 70 contestants were shortlisted. After a series of auditions, 40 women were selected. Now, only 12 still stand and are battling it out at the academy, where they are going through a process of training, tasks, challenges, problem-solving activities, presentations, and eliminations to eventually be elected Miss President. Leaders are required to work with people from all walks of life. And since leadership doesn't work in a vacuum, the candidates in this episode are divided into 3 groups, coalitions they formed in the last episode. While working within these groups, the contestants are being tested on their ability to lead or work as a team. Together, let us follow each stage of this competition and watch these very capable women try to convince the judges and you at home, myself included, why they should make it to the next stage of the competition. Here are the counties that are represented by the remaining contestants. And now, a quick look at the parties before elimination. Remember, somebody from each party will be going home tonight. A quick summary of today's training. Sample of a cabinet memo and its application. Why evidence is important in forming, monitoring and evaluating policy. And lastly, how to connect research and policy. Okay, so I'm going to hand you over now to Mwalimu to give you your task.
So this is the assignment. You've been elected into office and you are a president of a youthful country. One of the major issues in the country is unemployment. So you committed in your manifesto to champion the cause of the youth. So what is the policy framework that you are establishing to address the issue of the youth? Hello? And the judges will also look at the relationship between your data and the recommendations you're making, so that when you're saying we will do this, we will see if the data that you have actually speaks to that. Make sense? Yeah.
The issue is unemployment.
Yes, of the youth.
The youth. We need to develop a policy framework on employment, a national policy.
Yes.
We need to pay very close attention to connecting the data to the solution.
I think the data sometimes comes in
or as individual.
For this particular...
No, they say it. They ask.
The Department of Refugee Affairs, you remember? We should be ourselves. Yeah, he told you as the president, getting us out of our comfort zone.
Yes.
You're not accusing them of having terrorists.
We have come to the end of day 1. It will be a long night for all contestants here at the Academy as they work on their tasks as a team. So, we are back to new group group dynamics. Day 2, and here we are. Tired as some may seem, this does not stop them from giving their best shot at today's presentations in the true spirit of leadership. Today's task was as follows. What is the policy framework that you are establishing to address the issue of the youth? The judges will look at the relationship between your data and the recommendations you are making so as to see if the data you have speaks to the recommendations you are making. Let us see if anyone will make a connection between youth unemployment in correlation to other emerging issues we are currently facing in Kenya, such as violent extremism. Let's invite the judges. Karibuni.
Our agenda is youth unemployment policy. So we just followed the policy cycle to identify and come up with a policy that will be effective. There's low capacity to create new jobs, as we've seen. Most of the institutions do not have job opportunities because most of the time either the job market is throttled, minimal investment opportunities at grassroots level, in the sense that most of the investors do not come down to the grassroots level to invest in the local communities, which is a challenge because it limits the opportunities that even the youth can get from their counties.
So when we did our case studies, the first case study is the Israeli incubation hubs. They build incubator centers that actually help to grow rudimentary cottage industries. So I think that will help Kenya in this development of business parks that is currently coming up in the country.
So the output is 1 incubator park per county. So the impact will be to have increase in loan repayment. So that will also reduce the loans that are not paid, improvement in absorption of job creation, and increase in the number of fully fledged SMEs that are operating.
According to the Economic Survey report, it indicates that the ICT industry in Kenya collected a revenue that is growing in 2018 from 9.8% to 11%. So clearly, there is an opportunity for the young people. Our vision is to gainfully engage youth population for a thriving economy, and our goal is to tap the youth potential for a social and economic growth of the country. And as a government, we are seeking to engage millions of young people into the creative economy. Our building blocks are based on public participation, community-led and owned support systems. This is where the community own the initiatives for sustainability to ensure that families are involved, communities are involved for ownership, and also political commitment from the local administration and elected leaders. Financing comes from budget provisions, ensuring that there is a budget. And then our policy implementation instruments are youth profiling national data. This is based on research and regulations. Technological investment is also based on regulations of public and private partnerships.
%35% of the Kenyan population is made up of the youth 15 to 35 years, and 67% of them are unemployed, according to the Ministry of Education Research 2017. So the framework, we have our vision, which is promoting youth employment. Our mission is to visualize a society where a young person can be working and earning revenue for the country without fear or favor. Then we have strategic intervention. So the first one, we have to restructure our education. So we will have participatory entrepreneurship, and we'll conduct market need assessment. We will have youth participating in politics, and we'll also engage young people in political parties to hold key positions, because if they hold key position, it means they are able to negotiate for their spaces in the political space and in parliament. Then we have activities and targets. We'll have fully furnished training digital incubation centers, 47 for 47 counties. We'll establish career education center, 47 in 47 counties. Instrument of coordination is the National Youth Council, National Youth Service, National and County Government, and the Young Parliamentarians Association. Then financing.
First of all, when you only have 5 minutes, keep it short and simple. None of you got to finish your presentations, so I'm still waiting to see what will the impact be of what you are proposing. You've done quite a bit of research. You've gone and looked at Israel, interesting case studies, but I don't see how you're relating it to our situation, to understand how do we contextualize it in our Kenyan scenario. And then you articulate it very quickly. You understand what I'm saying? So you look at it from that perspective.
The seat you are vying for is a pressure cooker seat. You need to know how to solve problems on your feet. And if you are a good decision maker, implementation will be second nature. It will come very quickly. And if you implement well, your output and impact are automatic. You may not even need to get to finance to win the contest.
Today was fairly okay. It is not good. We need things very straight to the point. What are the deliverables? What are the variables? What are the outputs, outcomes, and implementation points? Because that was not very clear. People are going round, giving us research points. We did this, we did that, but we are not getting what exactly are you going to give to that youth. So let us not use these blanket words of creative economy, talent development, and talent hubs. What are talent hubs for? The youth out there are very specific. The current generation are very specific on what they need, what their passion is, how they want to do it. So let us not go with the mentality of we want to save them from poverty, we want to save them from unemployment. Be specific. Are we on the same page? Where is your voice? Public speaking skills is about sharing your authority in that whichever space you are in. And I'm not feeling that. We need women leaders. People need to up your game.
Right, so the judges will take their time to deliberate and then, of course, let us know what their thoughts are. In the meantime, of course, now we get into the period of elimination. Nominate one person from your group. Okay.
She comes out as someone who forces her point rather than explaining her point.
Because her performance yesterday and today was not up to scratch.
I haven't seen much of team spirit. It's more of me.
Over 1,000 applications were received from all over Kenya, and from these, 70 contestants were shortlisted. After a series of auditions, 40 women were selected. Now, only 12 still stand and are battling it out at the academy, where they are going through a process of training, tasks, challenges, problem-solving activities, presentations, and eliminations to eventually be elected Miss President. Leaders are required to work with people from all walks of life. And since leadership doesn't work in a vacuum, the candidates in this episode are divided into 3 groups, coalitions they formed in the last episode. While working within these groups, the contestants are being tested on their ability to lead or work as a team. Together, let us follow each stage of this competition and watch these very capable women try to convince the judges, and you at home, myself included, why they should make it to the next stage of the competition. Here are the counties that are represented by the remaining contestants. And now, a quick look at the parties before elimination. Remember, somebody from each party will be going home tonight. Welcome back. It's about that time when we do, or we are at the prelude of the eliminations. Time for us to have a chat with the judges. Hey, today you are tough. To all of them. Why?
Quite honestly, I'm so disappointed in the way the ladies performed today. I was just like, Are they just too comfortable? Or do they think they've made it? I was really disappointed. Because even as I was deliberating with them about their presentations, you could see people acknowledging, oh yes, we should have said that. Oh yeah, maybe this is what we should have done. Why didn't they do that in the first place? I think what we need to do is to light the fire. The game is up.
They had the idea, but the competition is getting tougher. The stage is tougher.
And do they realize that? Did you get a sense of, it's getting tougher and tougher, and the prize is getting closer and closer?
Anxiety. They are just 12. When the group thins, you are being thinned out. So I think anxiety got the better of them, and they could not utilize the time well.
Let me wind up with you, Judge Zippe. Do you think so? Do you think it's a lack of understanding or grasp of what the presidency is? Is that the problem?
It is not a lack of understanding. I think they are forgetting their purpose. When they came, they all had a reason why they want to be president. Then suddenly they're in top 12 and they're like, I am here now. But one thing is, from today, Jimmy,
yes,
the competition is over. The race has begun. We must get a president, and I know that we have a president in the house.
You can see her.
One of them must be.
So if the competition ends now, or in this episode, who then goes home with the competition? And who remains in the race? Because the race starts now. Let's find out. The feeling this week is that all parties went on a tangent and missed the main focus areas of the assignment given. Let us see how today's judges dealt with this and what the contestants have to say in their defense.
Hello, ladies. Hi. Yes, we are very excited about this moment because the smaller the crowd gets, the closer we get to getting the final winner of the title of Miss President Kenya. And for that, I'll hand over to Judge Njeri.
Thank you, Judge Zippe. So I'll begin with Nerea Amondi. Please come forward. Irene Mayaka, please come forward. Anne Waruguru. Umulher Harun, please come forward. Lucy Daisy Mwangi, please come forward. And Jacqueline Waweru, please come forward. Okay. So I'll begin by asking some questions. Jacqueline Waweru. Tell me how your experience working with youth as a mobilizer would have assisted you in coming up with a solution for youth unemployment.
So for me today, I tried to suggest that we could have participation inside the group, where we did a lot in terms of now policy implementation, and also some of the key things or interventions that would highlight on issues on the new trends of young people that they enjoy, like as I said, graffiti. And also, even if we were going to involve young people in terms of farming, maybe we could do the new technological maybe ways or new methods of farming. Things like policies, even for the policies. If we could also have even the young people sitting in the board of the writing team of the policy that we had.
I started working when I was in third year. So I used to go to school and I used to work during the long holidays. So I feel that my training has not been just the theory part. So I am prepared for the world other than just the classwork.
So how did that experience that you've had lend to the presentation you made?
Of course, we talked about restructuring our curriculum so that as much as you are in school, you also have the skill now, the handy skill outside.
So why didn't you come out of that as an example? Say, myself, as Lucy Daisy, this is what I have experienced and this is what I propose.
I learned that I'm supposed to do that. Next time I'll do that.
The current state of unemployment is something I relate to because I see it every other day. The county government, because things are devolved now, would be one of the key stakeholders also. And as a unit, the county will now capture the MCAs, and each assembly has a youth representative to involve both the county government, the national government, and the donor communities who are also interested to help the youth and the young people in this country.
Young people have ideas, they have websites, they are contributing on Facebook on how they can better their communities. But now the problem is they're not physically attending these meetings to have their voices heard. But what we have done in Nyeri County is to introduce a program whereby young people are able to post their views online. We then ensure that if the issue is addressing agriculture, we raise it to the CEC for agriculture. By the time the county is having their plans, their money plans, your idea is being factored in to be supported for funding.
That sounds like it's going to solve one person at a time. We need to start solving 10 people at a time.
How do you propose to raise funds to finance youth micro projects?
From one, the different donor organizations that we have out there, sharing with them proposals of what you think the youth can actually do. The other thing would be to actually have a bill in place at the county assembly through the county government that directly and deliberately supports the youth in whatever it is that they are doing. But my plan is that the first step is to train these young people on book management, just basic book management. The second level is to identify what are these specific skills that they do have that need financing.
What we are doing is we are involving their caregivers within the community, so they understand what the young people want to do. So whatever initiative you want to do, you come with your guardian. And the second one, because these are youth that have been in our program, after you finish Form 4, before you get to university, you do a mandatory community service. So they actually see your passion in the community. So I think when they have that understanding of what you invest the money in, and that has seen, for me, the projects I have been involved in, the uptake of loans has been up. The repayment has been at least 70%.
Okay. I will ask all of you to stand and go back to your seats.
Now we'll call the second lot, Caroline Chege, Lynette Mavu, Elizabeth Pantoren, Gertrude Kurgat, Betty Adera, Shamala Immaculate.
Right, so I'll begin by asking some questions, and I'll start with you, Caroline Chege. What challenges have you experienced when you've tried to engage the youth, bringing them into the spaces where you operate?
Majority of them is being on their comfort zone. They want easy things. They want to remain in their cocoon. And hence why I do the capacity building in terms of entrepreneurship training, to let them know that they can, inspiring them and building their capacity in terms of sharing knowledge.
What do you think would be useful in monitoring the success of youth programs?
One of the things that could be useful in monitoring is putting up systems, and especially ICT systems in monitoring youth projects and programs, so that you can be able to get real-time feedback, like a dashboard. We used to use the SMS system in communicating, and it worked very well, where you just SMS mass messages, and they reach every household, at a touch of a button.
If you become president, the perception is now the boy child is lagging. Do you have any plans as the president to bring the boy child at par with the girl child?
As president, I would put in place policies that would ensure equity, that will not be a one-size-fits-all. If the girls have a higher vulnerability, I will put in place systems that will ensure the girls are brought at par to function at almost the same level as the boy.
Kweli niliwania kiti cha ubunge katika kuwakilisha kina mama kwenye kaunti ya Trans Nzoia. Sera yangu, manifesto yangu ilikuwa cha muhimu vijana wajue haki zao, alafu sasa ndo tuanze kuangalia ni mashirika gani zinaweza kuja ili waongee na wao kama ni biashara, ili tuwe na yule kijana ambaye anajisimamia kiuzima. So hiki kiti ni cha utetezi. Hiki kiti ni cha kutoa yale maswala ambayo yako chini, hayajagunduliwa sana ama hajawekwa kipa cha umbele. Kama gani? Vijana.
Having campaigned, I actually know every corner of the constituency. So I sit with youth groups. I ask them what kind of business they want to do, and I convert youth groups to companies. I help them to register companies, and we go through the process of starting a business with them, because I realize these people are always told to register companies so that they can apply for tenders. But what else can we do? Are we going to be waiting for tenders to be advertised to apply? So I try to create a sustainable way for young people to engage in business.
My job is to bring a peaceful coexistence between people and wildlife. And in terms of security, we needed to recruit young people to come as game rangers. We take them for training, so some of them will be good tourist guides. Some of them will be rangers who are handling guns, and others will be people who will just be at the camp as cleaners and all that.
All right. Thank you.
Karibu.
Okay, I will request you all to go back to your seats. We have a lot of worry. We are wondering whether at this point of the competition, do you deserve to be here? People are talking vaguely, beautiful names, beautiful words, academic language. However, what are you doing? How can you make it better? And from today, we are going to be only 10 of us in the house. And for that reason, if I call your name, you'll stand up. Jacqueline Waweru. Gertrude Kurgat. We are sorry to say that at this point of the competition, we will have to let you go. But this far you have come, and we are very proud of you. It is sad that 2 young members are leaving the house, but it is also exciting that the 2 of you have stayed this long in the house. And so we would like to encourage you to continue doing what you're doing, but now take it to another level. We will be here to support you. Thank you so much. Congratulations to the 10 of you. I'd like to announce that you are all on probation. And for that reason, from today, no more groups. It's an individual battle to the end. Each person has to fight their own race. You're either running to the top or walking to the top. I hope that the best person wins.
I'm excited to go back to Uasin Gishu County and continue with my projects. I want to invite everyone to my chicken auction in August and come empower those young people in Kambikuku by buying chicken. I promise to do a lot more great things and see how my political career goes, and who knows, I might be the first female Kenyan president.
My purpose in this entire show and the entire program was to try and show, one, the girls of Kilifi that you can be wherever you want. That small thing that you started, that small thing that you're doing in the community, that small even job that you see is very small. Stand your ground, integrity, and then, yeah, show them that young people can lead.
After a busy and highly charged day at the academy, it's time to take a breather. For others, goodbyes to newfound friends will close the day. We are now down to 10 candidates. The numbers are shrinking faster than I can gather my thoughts on the direction the show is taking. And as you reflect on today's show, let me also take a moment to go over my own notes about today's show. It gets more interesting every week. Thoughts, opinions, compliments, suggestions? Hey, tweet us on @media_focus. Find us on Facebook @MediaFocus on Africa, and on Instagram @MediaFocus on Africa. If you don't know why you are doing it, you will battle to make the kind of long-term commitment that will see you through the challenges. Rapaleng Rabana, South African technology entrepreneur and founder of Rekindle Learning. Join us next week as we tackle yet another interesting topic and task on the next episode of Miss President.